What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Dominique Galloway and I am an incoming medical student, a NASM certified personal trainer, and an online wellness coach, and I'm super excited to tell you guys more about how I believe I got into medical school. So let's get to it. Alright, so this is a part 2, by the way, so if you didn't watch part 1, you can actually go ahead and watch that first and then come back to this video. I do talk specifically about all the experiences that I have on my AMCAS application and also letter of recommendations. So Juneteenth is when I submitted last year, and then I got my application processed on July 23rd, 2020. So it did take a little bit over a month, which is why I feel like it is super important to try to get it in as early as possible, but make sure that your application is as good as possible as well. So don't rush to get it submitted if it's not, you know, if you don't feel like it's as great as it could be. Yeah, so let's get on right into our experiences. I mean, my experiences. I'm gonna start off by telling you guys my most meaningful experiences, and then I'm gonna tell you guys the rest. And guys, I do have my iPad right here, so I may be looking down a lot, so I apologize. The first one is being a hunger and homelessness coordinator for 2 years, which is basically I was an employee within the volunteer center on my school's campus at Pepperdine University. I was able to coordinate different events with organizations throughout Southern California, where basically I was creating events for students to volunteer at. It was either in Los Angeles County or the Ventura County, and it was really awesome to work directly with these organizations that have a tremendous impact on the communities, on the underserved communities in those areas. So I really was able to have direct exposure to the homeless population in Los Angeles and also in Ventura, mainly in Skid Row actually, which is one of the largest homeless populations in the United States. My next experience, my most meaningful experience, would be volunteering with Konin Foundation. So I did mention that I went abroad to Argentina in my last video, and during this experience I was there for 8 months, and I was able to also volunteer with this foundation called Konin, and basically their mission is to eradicate malnutrition amongst children in South America and ultimately the world, you know. So I was able to work with the medical staff in this prevention center that was honestly like 30 minutes out of Buenos Aires. I took a taxi there every week, and it really exposed me to what it's like to be in, you know, a developing country where they lack a lot of healthcare access, and just really seeing, you know, the impact that this center had on the community there. And it was definitely another humbling experience there as well. So my third most meaningful experience, by the way guys, for the application you can have up to 15 experiences, and then you can have up to 3 most meaningful experiences. So this is my third most meaningful experience. It was actually being an intern for an incredible woman. She's a doctor. She's actually a dentist, but she has 2 private practices here in Long Island and in Brooklyn, New York. I was able to basically be a medical assistant for her within my gap years, and up until the pandemic actually. So it was really incredible to work with her, and she has a lot of involvement with cosmetic medicine as well. So she does things like Botox, fillers, all types of different things like microdermabrasion, PRP. It was incredible to see all these different procedures and non-invasive procedures, and I definitely was intrigued by it, and I saw that she was able to have long-lasting relationships with her patients, which I loved as well. It was great. So that was a great opportunity. She is my mentor, so I really enjoyed that. So those are my most meaningful experiences. Now I'm gonna go into just the rest of my experiences. I'm just gonna kind of list them out for you guys. The first category is kind of like community service, volunteering, and a little bit of clinical as well, but it's mainly volunteer work, right? So I was also a college connection leader, which was basically me being a mentor for high school students in low-income communities, and that was my freshman year of college. I was also a volunteer for a Nicaragua missions trip, and that was for 1 week. I was also a Project Serve volunteer, so that was basically every spring break my school offers the opportunity to serve in different parts of the world, and I was able to serve in Oahu, Hawaii, which a lot of people don't realize has a really large homeless population as well. So yes, I was there for a week twice. So my freshman year and my junior year, I spent my spring break they are serving. Next is being a Mercy Medical Center volunteer. So that's actually a local hospital by me. So 2 summers I was able to volunteer there, and I basically just did whatever they needed, you know, keeping you know, the area sanitary, restocking certain things, calling in food orders for the patients, transporting patients to and from different departments to the hospital, and I really feel like I was able to see what it's like to work in the hospital for a pretty long period of time, because it was for 2 summers, and it was in the emergency department and also in the inpatient department. Yeah, so next I had one shadowing experience, and that was with a physician that worked in the UCLA emergency department, and it was awesome though. I was able to do the night shift, and I basically saw a lot of cool cases. It was from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in Los Angeles, so yeah, I was able to do that one shadowing experience, which I mentioned in my application. So next, I do want to mention like kind of extracurriculars slash leadership. Next was being a TA or a teacher assistant for the organic chemistry laboratory, and I loved that. Honestly, I really enjoyed organic chemistry. I did not enjoy Gen Chem, but honestly it was really about me having to, I guess, learn my study routine. I did extremely well in that class, and my professor told me about the TA position, so I took it, I went for it, and I definitely enjoyed that position. I did that for basically 2 semesters, so that was really cool. I was an active member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, so shout out to my sorority. I also had some minor leadership positions within that as well, so I definitely wrote about that in my application too. And what else? And I was able to be the vice president for the women's club lacrosse team at my school for 3 years. So as soon as I got to school, I remember they just honestly started back up the club team, so they were looking for people to take up leadership positions right away, and I did. I stepped right in, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed having basically a team again within college, and being able to improve my communication skills and being able to lead you know, my teammates throughout practices and games. It was an awesome opportunity. I continued that for 3 years. The only year I didn't do it was when I was abroad. Now I have another category which I just label others. So I just mentioned I lived in Argentina for my entire sophomore year, so that was one of my study abroad, but one of my experiences. Plus I talked about being in Madrid for 2 months right after that, so it was 10 months abroad, and it was awesome. I loved it. I talked about that in my last video. So my next experience was being a summer camp counselor at the Lifetime athletics gym. It's called Lifetime. It's honestly a really awesome gym, and I love that gym. But I was able to be a summer camp counselor there, and I, you know, you guys know what camp counseling is, but I also was able to teach kids about the importance of staying physically active and the importance of implementing good nutrition in your daily lifestyle. So that was cool, and I got to really touch upon that in my application. Next, which is actually right before college, I was a part of this program called the National Youth Leadership Forum, Careers in Medicine. And it was basically other students that were interested in careers in medicine as well, and we were able to stay on campus of a medical school, a local medical school by me, for 2 weeks, and learn about what it's like to be a medical student, learn about what it's like to be a physician, and yeah, so that was awesome. I definitely learned a lot throughout that program. Alright, and the last experience that I talked about within my application, which is actually something that I find is another most meaningful experience, but you know, like I said, we could only choose 3, but I am an online wellness coach, and I love being an online coach. I'm able to help my clients reach their, oh my gosh, I'm sorry about the background noise, guys, but I'm able to help my clients reach their health and fitness goals, which I took a lot more seriously within my gap years, you know, and I am a NASM certified personal trainer as well as of recently, and I've definitely just gained such a passion with fitness, which I am going to talk a lot more about within my channel as well. So that is what I talked about within my experiences, guys. Now I'm gonna go into my letters of recommendations. Alright, so I do want to mention that with the letters of recommendations, not everyone gets this opportunity, but my school actually allowed us to get a committee letter. So pre-medical advisor puts all the letters together, and she basically writes her own committee letter as well, which kind of summarizes those letters, and then she also talks about me from her own point of view. And I really definitely enjoyed having that opportunity. I'm sure it helped a lot. So if you guys do have the chance to get a committee letter, definitely take advantage of that. I do recommend getting close to your pre-medical advisor. Take advantage of, you know, the resources that she brings you. You know, she, at least for me, my pre-medical advisor was very helpful. She answered all of my questions, and I'm sure she made a great letter of recommendation for me. So she helped me a lot. I do have a good amount of letters of recommendations. Let me actually count out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's 8 letters, but technically no, because 6 of those letters were put together within the committee letter, and the committee letter was kind of a added component to all of them. So it's 7 letters all together from my school. So all of my letters were put together from Pepperdine University, and then I have an added letter from the doctor that I interned with throughout my gap years. And yeah, so that's all my letters, guys. I'm gonna mention what letters I got from my school though. So I have my bio professor, I have my physics professor, I have my Spanish professor, because I was a Spanish major, guys. I have the professor, organic chemistry professor that I TA'd for. What else? I received a letter from my chapter graduate advisor from my sorority, and I received a letter from my volunteer center director, which I, you know, worked a lot with because I was a hunger and homelessness coordinator. So all those letters were put together, plus the committee letter on top of that. And then my mentor and doctor that I received a letter from as well. So those are my letters, guys. If you guys have any questions about that, definitely reach out to me. You know, I'm willing to answer any questions within my comments. I really actually enjoyed all the feedback I got on part 1 of this video. So thank you for that, guys. And I feel like, just to wrap this up, I would say do what you are passionate about, literally though, because I feel like I am a multi-dimensional person. I have a lot of things that I'm passionate about. I feel like my experiences weren't just, you know, in one area. You know, you don't have to just focus on medicine, or you don't have to just focus on clinical experiences. You don't have to just focus on science. You could do things that are outside of the box. You can do things that will make you stand out. And I feel like admissions committees are actually very attracted to people that stand out, because they want to know what makes you different from the rest of the applicants. So I really feel like that's the biggest advice I would give you, is do things you're passionate about, because you want to be able to do it long term and show that you do have a commitment, a level of commitment, right? And you also want to be able to get some leadership positions, and I feel like after that you also want to be able to get some letters of recommendations from people that can definitely attest to, you know, who you are and your characteristics. Yes, I also did start my personal brand and business in this gap year recently, like literally the beginning of this year. I feel like when I first came into the cycle, I was nervous about being different, or I was nervous about doing a lot of things that I guess aren't seen as just medicine. And if you feel that way, I'm telling you, do not feel that way. Like, it is okay to have passions outside of medicine. Don't be afraid to be you. Don't be afraid to be authentic. I remember doing my interview for the school that I'm going to, and my interviewers were so impressed just by, I guess, my authenticity about my passions outside of medicine. I remember my interviewer actually asked me for the website of my business during the interview, which honestly was super cool, super shocking though. But it just shows you that people want to know who you are outside of medicine. So yeah, those are just the advice and tips I guess I would have for you. Of course, guys, I am not saying, once again, as a disclaimer, do not think that this is the only way to get into medicine. There are so many ways, so many different ways, and everyone is different, so just be you. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this video, watching this video. If you watched it till the end, I appreciate it. Comment, give me your feedback, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I will be giving you guys content every single week, and thank you so much again for watching. See you guys.